it's been a true blessing to have Coach Mike Sullivan here at the college throughout his career, and we're going to really miss him. What a tremendous loss for the institution. But we know he's made a huge impact not only on our soccer program, but also on the individuals that he's coached through the years. He's touched those players' lives. He's made them better soccer players, better individuals, and better students. We're proud of his legacy that he leaves behind for ICC men's soccer and ICC soccer as a whole. We're excited for this new phase in his life and wish him the best in retirement.
Well, Coach, big, exciting day for you, announcing that you are retiring from coaching at ICC. And, Coach, let's just first off say congrats on retirement. We're all proud for you. You know the next chapter is coming. But let's start by just talking about the decision and making that decision to move on to the next chapter.
Yeah, it's a really tough decision because, this place has been a part of me for so long. I mean, almost half of my breathing life I've been here. And I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I mean the people I've met, and just every experience has been great. I mean, this has been, can't imagine having a more fun job than this, and so it's really been tough. But the right opportunity came my way, and my wife and I talked about it, and I think it's time. I think I'm ready. I'm never going to be truly ready. I love soccer. I love coaching these boys. I'm going to miss them to death, but the timing was just right, and we felt like it was the right time to make a move. And I know we're going to take great care of the program as I move forward. So I'm at peace until August rolls around, and I miss it a little bit.
Talk about these years at ICC, what they've meant to you, and just the journey in general.
Yeah, I mean, 20 years doing the men's program. I did the women's for 8. We had a lot of success, with the women. We've had massive amounts of success with the men lately. I always wish we'd have won one, had some really great teams along the way, just came up a little short, but the experience has been fantastic. I mean, my personal children got to grow up through this program here. My daughter's going to have big news coming out soon through her time of getting to be around soccer all the time. And, it's always been like a big family up here, and I don't know. It's one of those things where right now it's all starting to sink in, and it's I really haven't talked about it much out loud until right now, this very second. But the experience has been great. I mean, I've enjoyed it. A lot of wins, some losses along the way, but great kids. I mean, I wouldn't even want to try and start listing off any kids because I would forget some great ones, and I'm not even sure how many I've had play for me. 25 kids times 20 years. I mean, with 2 teams for 8 years. I mean, I've dealt with 500, 600, 700 kids, and a lot of them I see having super success, whether it's in business or having a family. I mean, just all the things you get to see down the road, that you hope that you had some small part in, even if it was teaching them what not to do. I mean, hopefully I taught them a few good things, but, along the way it has been quite a journey. And, I came here 20 years ago, never thinking I'd be here 20 years, but wouldn't change a thing. Everything has went, I don't know, the way it's supposed to go, and I'm excited for the next chapter for me.
Just talk about that growth that you've been a part of and how you've helped build this program, and just to see where it is today and the joy it brings you.
Yeah, I mean, starting off at the end almost, I mean, we have one of the premier facilities, locker room that I'm aware of. I mean, there's some other teams that have good ones, but I'd stack ours up against almost anybody. And that alone has been a nice addition. They're extending our backfield, which is going to make us almost have 2 backfields back there, or 2 fields to play on. And everything about the facilities are amazing. The school facilities, classroom, dorms, everything. This is a place you want to go. I mean, without a doubt. From where it started, I mean, I used the laundry room as a locker room in the old gymnasium when I first got here. So we just had a couple of hooks on the wall, and so things have come a long way. The soccer field was the old practice football field when I started, and if anybody knows anything about that practice football field, when it rains, half that field is flooded for about a week. So, we've had the new soccer field addition. Next season, they can expect a brand new scoreboard will be put up in place. So the upgrades and the facilities are second to none here. We got a brand new dorm going up across the way. So the whole thing, the whole experience has been great. I mean, soccer has grown here. You know, my very first season, my first 11 games, I lost all 11 of them. But then we ended up finishing like 6-12 or something like that. You know, so really I feel like that was almost one of my best jobs ever coaching, because we were pretty bad to start off with. But then, you know, we started figuring it out. We beat a few teams that beat us, and we actually didn't finish in last. And, you know, the last couple of years, I'd have to check my facts, but I think we've had 2 or 3 out of the last 5 North Division championships. And, you know, I guess we get to say we won the last North Division title that ever exists, because next year we'll be going to one conference. So, you know, it's a little bit we take a lot of pride in some of those things. I remember a lot of big wins. I mean, I remember some really heartbreaking losses too. The journey's been amazing. You know, this place is a great place to work at, and you know, I'm really excited for whoever the next coach is going to be. Hopefully, we're going to bring in somebody as soon as possible, and you know, Coach Lashley is going to still be here, so we're going to be excited to see what next year brings. I can't wait to watch them.
What's a couple of the games you remember the most, just off the top of your head?
Well, you know, I think a lot of coaches will remember losses before they remember wins. But, you know, if I coached the women for 8 years, and there really is 2 games that I can remember for that. You know, the women had been in a program for 2 years before I got here, and I think they'd won 1 or 2 games each of those years. So when we came in, Northwest had been a program for a couple of years now, but they were actually pretty good. And we played over in Tupelo, and somehow we beat them 3-2. I don't even know how we did it, but we did, and that pretty much propelled us to having a playoff spot. And then later that season, we lose 7-0 to Hines in girls, which was not a shock. Hines girls hadn't even lost a game to Mississippi team in forever, if not ever. And then like 2 weeks later, we turn around and go to their place and beat them 7-5. And when I tell you I don't know how we did that, I don't know how we did that. We were up 4-0, and then all of a sudden it was like Hines said, "Whoop, nope, this ain't gonna work." And somehow we held on, and so we ended up getting a co-division championship with that year. And so I actually really remember that. And then, you know, guys-wise, I mean, there's a couple of. I remember the first time we beat Hines, because Hines men were always the kings of the world for a while, and we finally beat them in 2007, and that was an exciting day. You know, I got back in the locker room, waited for everybody to leave, and I just did a little happy dance, because I was like, finally, I beat these guys. You know, and that was a heck of a team themselves right there. You know, the most painful loss was when we played Gulf Coast in a semifinal game, and we lost 7-5, which is a crazy soccer score. And the crazier thing about it was that, you know, we both had only allowed like 23 goals together the whole year, and we scored 12 in one game. It's like, what just happened? So that one was kind of that one, and then the Jones 3-2 loss in double overtime on that moon ball shot. That just everybody's like, how did that even go in? That was, those were bad. But there's been so many good wins, and you know, there's so many good memories. It's probably something, as I reflect on a little more, I can probably pull some more out. But you know, there's been a lot of wins, and I have to say I've enjoyed most of them.
Just touch on what's next for you.
Well, I'm going to be moving down to Spanish Fort, and I'm going to take over kind of a Parks and Rec director job and run the soccer portion in a town called Bay Minette, and it's going to be close to where I'll be living. So it's something I get to stay involved in soccer a little bit, and you know, and kind of start the new chapter with the wife, and we're both really excited. I definitely plan on coming back and watching as many games as I can, and trying to get up in that booth and talk about the boys and that kind of thing, have a little fun with it. But you know, looking forward to it. Going to be starting that up towards the end of the month, and kind of seeing what's next from there.
All right, Coach. Well, lastly, once again, like I said, we're proud for you. You've been nothing but a pleasure to work with on our end. But lastly, I just want to open it up to you. Floor is yours. Say whatever you want.
Well, first off, I want to thank Coach Ball. 20 years ago, basically one of her first days as an athletic director. It's a long story. I ain't gonna tell a long story on here, but I had taken another job. She calls me. We don't even know each other. I had a U-Haul lined up to move to Jackson to take this job. She's like, "Coach, just come check us out. See what you think." Well, to make a long story short, later that day, I accepted this job and called the other one and said, I'm not coming. And so she gave me my first opportunity, and I made a lot of mistakes to start off with because I didn't know much about college rules, just coming from high school, but I learned quick, and, I'd like to think I've done a lot of good things since then. So I really want to thank her for giving me that opportunity. And there's so many others that I would want to thank. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm just going to say I hope to be able to catch up with everybody, and say something before I leave. But everybody here has almost always made my job easier. They work with me and help me out. I mean, because everything doesn't always go according to plan, and you guys have always done a great job getting us out there and covered, and it feels like we were one of the first people to start really broadcasting games, and now everybody does it. That's always been a monster recruiting tool. Like, you talk to a kid, say, hey, your grandma in Ohio can watch the game. That's big, especially a couple of years ago. I mean, with all the things we have here now in place, it's a good place to want to come and play, and I hope the tradition of, being successful carries on, and I know it will. But there are so many people to thank. I'm going to try and just not say too many, and hopefully catch up with everybody before we go. But the experience has been great, and to all my players that have ever played, hopefully some of y'all have stuck through this 5 or 6 minutes and watched it. I basically remember each and every single one of you, and I want to thank everybody for coming to play for me, and any parents, I appreciate you sending your kids to me, and I've always tried to do the right thing, and hopefully I'm going to continue to see a lot of things on Facebook and things like that of people being successful and getting married and having children and having great careers. So I still got a lot of things to look at and watch and see as some of these guys grow. So I guess signing off one last time for, ICC soccer.
Well, Coach, congrats on retirement, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you much.